How are we doing today? I hope you're absolutely epic. In this episode, I'd like to talk to you about should I stay, should I go, or should I do, or should I do not? You see, I really believe that we have a far greater wealth of information that we're not really paying attention. And some people call that being intuitive, some people call that being connected with who we are. And there's probably many other names about that too. But in this episode, I want you to tap into what your body, your unconscious mind thinks in terms of should you do something, should you not do something. Now I'm going to just put it out there. Don't take this as an absolute truth. Take this as an added bit of information before you do and make certain decisions. Because we can consciously make decisions, right? You're consciously making decisions all the time. But we're not always making the best decisions because we're not taking into consideration the other connections that we have inside. Because our unconscious mind does many different things, right? And it's always there, it's always listening, it's always doing things. And there is a wealth of information that we can utilize that will allow us to make a better decision. Because if you're just consciously going by life, you're only consciously aware of so much information at any given moment. Now, there's varying degrees as to studies which says how much we're aware of. To some point they say we're only aware of 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information, so between 5 and 9 bits of information that we can actually take on before we get overwhelmed or we start to forget certain bits of information. Whereas the unconscious mind, depending on the study you listen or read, it says around 5 billion bits of information it's taking on. Now, wouldn't it be nice to be able to utilize some of that information which you're intuitively able to tap into when it comes to making good decisions? So rather making split decisions, you become far more conscious and unconscious as to how you can begin to utilize it. So that's what I really want to be getting into. It makes sense, right? Being able to utilize more information that we have to make better decisions in any area of our life when it comes to new opportunities, where it comes to people, where it comes to anything, it just works. And this technique, this process is really, really simple. And I usually go into far more depth into things like this with my Mind Mastery Academy, and people just really utilize. And I hope you join me one day in Mind Mastery, because it means that me and you get to speak and connect with each other so I can personally coach you. But putting that to one side, knowing that's something that you want to do, then you'll go ahead and do it. What do I mean about how we can use a process? So what I want you to do is I want you to think of something where you may be making a decision. Now, you may be hesitating about this decision for a long time, or maybe it's just something coming up, or maybe something you could utilize in the future. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to consider that in your mind and just consciously for a moment take in consideration what that decision really means to you, okay? So the alternatives, the comparisons, so you can make that decision, but there'll be alternatives and comparison decisions that you can make, right? So just take that as in entirety when you think of that decision you're about to make. And then what I want you to do is I want you to put your hand on your chest right here. And as you go ahead and put your hand on the chest, as you think in your forefront of your mind of the decision you're thinking about making, notice intuitively and more importantly, or equally importantly, physiologically, notice if you're leaning forward or you're going backwards, okay? Now, what we're doing here is we're just tapping into what feels good to us, which is very unconscious. And obviously we're utilizing our physiology here, but you're putting your hand on your chest and you're thinking about that decision you're about to make, and notice if you will lean forward or you'll be leaning backward. See, we're becoming far more connected with our physiology, which is our unconscious mind, our body and our brain. And you're just tapping into that. If it feels good, you're going to lean forward more often than not because it feels like a good thing to do. And if you're going backwards, there's hesitation there. So then what you go ahead and do, if there is a leaning back, consider the alternative decisions you might have, and then do the exact same process. When you think of that alternative decision, are you leaning forward or are you going back? Now, the nature of doing that is causing you to consider more about that decision. You're beginning to unconsciously seek out more, and you're unconsciously utilizing more information out there which you may not be aware of consciously. So you're really tapping into what your body thinks, your gut instinct or your intuition. And we've all had that from time to times, right? We're just consciously utilizing it in a process now. That's the beauty about the work that we do and the work that I share with you. We're taking unconscious processes which are naturally occurring and then utilizing it to our advantage. Like I said, I usually go to far more depth about this in Mind Mastery, but hey, I want to be able to share information with you as well. And just making that unconscious process into a conscious thing, so something we can consciously apply by just putting our hand on the chest, not consciously leaning forward, but if we lean forward, it's more of like a go, yes. If we're leaning back, then, or you'll feel it differently. It'll be like a forward feeling or a pull, or it might be pulling backwards, or there might be hesitation. There might be even a bit of a sway along the way. But I want you to be conscious of what's happening. Like I said, it's not the be-all and end-all to make a decision, but what you are doing is you're utilizing more information which you weren't consciously aware of, which means you're utilizing that information to make a better decision. So should you stay or should you go? Who knows? Let's try out that process. Regarding situations, opportunities, people, it could be anything. Utilize it, play with it. That's a great thing about the mind. You can begin to utilize it to your advantage. So go ahead and do that. And once again, if you want a free 7-day program, which will be going on sale soon. So if you want to be able to get this program, I haven't decided on the price yet, but it's going to be anywhere from $300 to $500 because it's actually worth more than that. But you know me, I want to be able to give value, and it took a lot of time to create. But if you want access to this for free, it's a 7-day program. Whenever you start, it starts straight away, and every day you get a new 15-minute video which you can begin to apply in your life and then build upon it each and every day. So on day 7, you've made many awakenings and you're beginning to create the future that you deserve. That's what I'm here for, right? So if you're getting value from my work, go ahead and rate and review it. You do like it, right? That's what we got to do. Sometimes pay it forward. I don't mind selling maybe making a like or doing a share on YouTube or writing a review on the podcast, on iTunes preferably. That would be great. And also on the App Store. It just means that more people will get access to this new information which they weren't aware of before, which means everyone gets a little bit happier. And I think the world needs a little bit of more happiness right now. So if you can do that for me, you're awesome. And I really appreciate that. And I have so much gratitude for you. Oh, and by the way, to get this 7-day kickstart, go ahead to josephclough.info/claim, which is josephclough.info/claim, CLAIM. So you're claiming something. I want you to claim it before it goes on sale. Isn't it a weird business model to actually give it away for free and then start selling it? But you know me, I like to do things different. I want you to get access to this in every way and make the transformations that you deserve in every way too. Have a most wonderful day, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye. You're awesome.